Be the now of what you want to be later. It starts right now.
Fundamental decision of whether they're making money because they want to oppress other people or because they want to build something that is valuable. If you want to build something that's valuable, you live for as cheap as you can, you take as much of that money as humanly possible, and you try and make that thing bigger. If you're trying to make money so that you can show people stuff, then you take all that cash and you try and flaunt it. But the thing is only one of those entrepreneurs is secure, because the day that you have a bad day when you're trying to live for everybody else is the day that you don't have enough to live for yourself. Every entrepreneur.
What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
99% of people, by showing up early, preparing the night before, remembering everyone's name, blowing people away, following up quickly, following up multiple times, and actually over-delivering in a personal way for each customer. It's not about the fancy stuff. It's being able to do the basics at scale consistently every time. That's how you win.
Podcast you'll ever hear, allegedly. And I just kind of wanted to start this episode. I got a bunch of cool things. I have a lot of cool things to talk about. So recently, there was a power outage. So I'm kind of doing this episode on the whim, you know. I had to come to another I had to come to another recording space real quick. I had to come to another recording spot real quick so I could get some internet and some power. But here I am making the episode. It's going to be awesome. I'm one day, or actually a day, 2 days, 48 hours out from my hiatus. So this is probably going to be the last episode, probably for at least a month. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, recently I came across, I really don't like coming across these personality types, but I came across a very distressful, dissociated personality type the other day. And it was very soul wrenching. That's a powerful word. Nah, it was very uncomfortable. You know, I didn't like it. But I did come across a very territorial, dissociated personality type the other day. And actually, I was listening to somebody else speak the other day, and they were kind of like hitting on this same topic about, you know, they had a similar experience. And they said, you know, that honestly, it's actually really good to know how to deal with those types. To know how to deal with those types of people that have never healed, you know, that are just constantly just storing more and more, you know, emotions, and they're just so dissociated from everything. Like, you know, it just kind of makes everybody uncomfortable and like pulls everybody down around them. You're just like, ugh. But the thing is, it's like the thing about it is like I've been that person too. You know, like I've been that person that's had that, and I now, you know, 3 years later, I'm at a point where I'm able to just totally be the opposite. Just like I'm totally the opposite of that. But anyway, I'm just kind of looking at it from I had to sneeze. But no, I'm just looking at it from the perspective of like, okay, I can learn a lot from this, you know, from this like kind of volatile person. You know, like if you can learn how to handle that, then that'll give you the confidence to do other stuff. But the main thing about it is like you mostly want to avoid these types of people because I don't know if I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but like you really want to avoid these types of people because what happens in most social hierarchies and social groups is that the bottom drags the top down. So like you can be a top tier person, like, you know, like I'm trying to be the most top tier person I can be, right? So in that process, you know, the people that I meet, you know, these bottom of the barrel, you know, like scum of the earth people are gonna try to like pull me down at like as I go, you know, because I think what it is just lack of knowledge, you know. People that just don't know, like, they just don't know any better, you know? It's just like you've never been taught, or you've never, you know, read anything. Yeah. But anyway, I always try to reframe things like that to the point of like, you know, like, what is this teaching me? But like in general, you just really want to avoid that. You just want to avoid those kinds of distressful people because they're only gonna lower your morale, like weaken your mind, like lower your confidence. You know, it's just like a black hole. and you know that normie mentality, that poverty mentality, you know, that low status mentality is very fucking contagious. It's very, very fucking contagious, you know? So, you know, do what you have to do, but like that normal shit, man, that normal matrix shit that they want you to do, it's very fucking contagious, bro. Like in life, always do the opposite of what most people do. That's how you succeed. Always do the opposite of what most people do. Bro, they're cutting freaking trees down left and right, bro. My neighbor has a tree that fell down in her front yard and hit her car. That's like what you see on the commercials. Mayhem. That's what you like see. What you don't want to see. Glad that didn't happen to me. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start it off. One should not seek to lay up riches first. One may attain to philosophy. However, even without money for the journey, it is indeed so. After you have come to possess all other things, shall you then wish to possess wisdom also? Is philosophy to be the last requisite in life? A sort of supplement. Nay, your plan should be this: be a philosopher now, whether you have anything or not. For if you have anything, how do you know that you have not too much already? But if you have nothing, seek understanding first before anything else. Marcus Aurelius, Moral Letters. I think that might be Seneca. My bad. I didn't put a name next to this one. But anyway, what that's saying is philosophy always comes first. And I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that writing. You know, it kind of goes back to what I said before. If you're somebody that has one of those bad personalities, dissociated personality types, what you need first is philosophy. You got to have a philosophical ground. You know, because a lot of the things that, you know, a lot of the people that are the worst off is like when you tell young men to act on their emotions, that's when you get a school shooter. When you tell young men to do whatever their emotions tell them to do, that's when you get a fucking jailbird, you know? Yeah, like when you have no pride for your last name. This is coming from stuff that I was watching the other day. I was watching an interesting interview. Patrick Bet-David and Andrew Tate. I was watching their interview. It's a long ass interview. I still haven't finished it. It's like 5 hours. But anyway, is when you feed, you know, when there's no religion and there's no philosophical ground, that's when you get freaking anarchy. That's when you get Mad Max Wasteland. Yeah, so like whether you're somebody who is broke or rich, has material possessions or not, that what you still need is philosophy, you know? Like at the end of the day, you still need the philosophy to get you where you want to go. Because when you think about it, it's like what is philosophy? Philosophy is your morals, like your core values. Like you got to have core values, you know? You got to have a sense of morality. You know? And not everybody has that sense of morality. Yeah, it's wild. But I think another big one. Well, anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. But yeah, that was interesting. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about, well, I'm going to skip over that. Because this one kind of flows a little bit better. Putting kinks in the flow. Kinks in the flow. All right, so the more internally fucked up you are as a man, the more externally happy you will be. It's an extraordinary feat to be an exceptional man. It is very internally and mentally draining and damaging. All right, so I remember when I wrote this down. This was from another podcast as well. But look, the point behind this is, you know, I was just talking about philosophy, right? Okay, so if you're a guy and you have a lot of like internal problems, right? Okay, so those internal problems are going to drive you to the actions in the outside world. You know what I mean? If you're internally jacked up as a dude, you know, you're bipolar, you got depression, you got a bunch of fucking stuff on your plate. Like you got, insecurities, whatever, if you got stuff in your head, you're like, fuck, then that shit in your head is going to drive you to bring your dreams into the world. It's only the men that are so internally comfortable. They're so internally comfortable that they don't ever try and take the initiative to really get what they want out of life, because they're already so internally content. They're just inside, they're just so content. And now whether this comes from like it reminds me of Fight Club again, Like you all remember the speech where Tyler Durden is like, let me never be content. Let me never be whole. Fuck TV. Fuck celebrity magazines. Fuck all this consumer culture, May I never be content. May I always keep on growing. Like, that's the thing, bro. These guys that are just, doing the same year over and over and over. It's because they feel like there's nothing else to get out of life. And that is a very lackluster mentality. That is a very deadly mentality, a very damaging mentality to have, bro. Now, what makes someone believe that? It just comes back down to the philosophy. It comes back down to the philosophy and what are your core beliefs? What are your core values? You got to have that sense of religion. I'm telling you, religion is what really drives society and people to be the best version of themselves. And it's not just the religion too. It's also being able to discard beliefs quickly. Now, that doesn't mean I know I just said religion. That doesn't mean, being able to throw a religion out the window. That means being able to throw an idea. Okay, because you got to think of yourself and in your mind as ever growing. If you have the same core beliefs if you have the same core beliefs you had when you were 12 and you're like 30 now, like you're going to be pretty fucking dumb. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to use your brain, use your mind every day and discard your old beliefs. You have to be willing to get rid of the old shit so that new shit can come in. Like that's how you get rid of stuff. That's how you evolve. You know, you're always evolving. That's how you evolve. And you also have to be very careful about the kind of content you take in. I've said this before, but the people that are the biggest slaves to society are the ones that believe anything they see on a screen. You know? You want to be willing to change your belief, but you got to look at the source it's coming from. You got to be very careful what kind of content you're consuming. You know? If you're going to change your belief based on what CNN tells you, you're a dumb fuck. Like, you are an absolute troglodyte fucking dumbass if you're going to believe what CNN fucking tells you. You know, it's like, understand that there's a lot of bullshit, and you have to be able to determine what is and what is not. Okay? Yeah. You know, like, maturing is realizing that you don't want to be around, you know, drama and bullshit. And, you know, maturing is realizing that you want to actually find out what's real in life. Like, you want to focus on your purpose. And you don't want to be around the BS anymore. You know, that's kind of what being mature is. And as a man, your money can only mature as much as you can. Your money only matures as quickly as you do. So, like, you see these people that are doing the same year over and over, that have no money in life, barely scraping by, because it's just immature. Like, being poor is immature. It is. It's very immature to be in poverty. You know, like, you've never taken the initiative to actually, you know, try and hone your mind and, you know, focus on something. Like, yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like, being mature is hard, bro. But it's the motherfuckers that are showing up for the wrong reasons, bro. It's the motherfuckers that are showing up just to be seen. You know, the motherfuckers that are showing up just to wear a shirt, just to be seen, you know, just to fucking, you know, like, you're in here for the wrong reason, bro. Like, that's the wrong reason. I mean, just showing up, you can be 80%, but you shouldn't just show up just to show up. Like, you have to show up and actually try and move the needle in life. You know, you got to show up and actually try and move the dial. Like, fucking actually try and get places. Like, I feel like that's the biggest, you know, biggest concern. But then that comes back, you know, why don't some people, you know, why don't some guys do that? It's either, you know, lazy, retarded, or they just want to fucking be so content in themselves that they don't ever want to, you know, try and do anything else. And I mean, hey, it is what it is. I can't change it. All right. Okay, so the next one, talk about once you go past the internal voice in your head, that's where life begins as a man. Once you breach that garrison, yeah, 100% true. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, you know, everybody has an internal voice in their head. You're hearing the internal voice in my head right now. You're listening to the internal voice in my head live. Well, not live, but recorded. And I can 100% attest to that. You know, if you're trying to lounge around in the comfort zone for too long, and you're just, you know, listening to the weak voice, then that's going to dictate your life, and you're going to go to the weaker side of things. But I know I've said this on here before, but it's like there's always two voices inside of the man's head. You know, you got the voice that's telling you what you actually need to be doing, what's hard, what you probably don't want to be doing. And then you have the voice that's telling you what's going to make you feel good. What's gonna what you think you want to be doing. You know, you have those two voices. And the only way is like you have to consistently go past that first initial voice. And once you start going past that initial voice enough times, like boom, 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 then it just becomes habitual. It becomes repetition. And you get to the point where you're like, okay, it's repetitive. I know that if I just keep on going past that voice, I'm gonna be able to breach. And also what happens is you start to realize, yeah, like once you go past it, you kind of become accustomed to it, and you realize like, okay, this is what I need to listen to. Like this is where I need to be going. And that really is where life starts. You got to do that. I'm getting a little distracted in this new recording space, but if you guys hear that like chainsaw in the background, I'm just going to try and ignore it as much as I can too, because it is kind of annoying. All right, so we have severe ADHD is only being able to wrangle a task you care about, and everything else just feels soul killing. I got this. This is from another thing I got offline, and honestly, like that resonated with me so much that I was like, dang, like that's so true, because it's like no matter what it is, right? Like no matter what it is, like if it's not something that like I don't care about, it really does just suck, you know? And I think that's true for a lot of people out there that are in the same situation as me. It's funny, you know. They label, you know, depression, overthinking, ADHD, you know, bipolar. You know, they kind of label these things Well, there's no kind of, they do. They label these things in society as bad, but I think they're actually superpowers, you know? I can't say so much for bipolar. I don't really know that much about it, but you know, like anxiety, depression, like ADHD, overthinking, like, bro, these are actually superpowers if you handle them correctly. Because look at this. You know, if you're only able to wrangle a task you care about, then you're only going to be doing the stuff that you intrinsically and internally really want to be doing. And the stuff you really want to be doing is, yes, it's going to be hard. And you're not necessarily going to think that you really want to do it. It goes back to the two voices. You listen to the harder voice, all right? You know, look, listen to this. So like as a you know, as an ADHD person, somebody who has the extreme side of it, it's like I'm forced to work on the things. I'm forced to work on my dreams. I'm forced to try and be an entrepreneur. I'm forced to try and bring my deepest desires into fruition. Because everything else kills my soul. Everything else is just like a dagger to the heart, bro. Like everything else is just like, like I see normal people that have worked a normal job their whole life and they're waiting for retirement. And like, I'm like, whoa, dude. I'm like, whoa. Like, bro, I'm trying to retire by 30. Like, bro, dude. Like that person is dead on the inside, bro. Like, you know how last time, I don't know if you listened to my last episode, but I talked about how when you're under the tutelage of people that you don't respect, if you're working a job you hate, it literally slowly kills all your dreams. Now, I understand, yeah, you gotta be somebody in society, you know, you gotta bring home the bag. You're gonna have to do shit that you don't like for a little while. But if you do shit that you don't like for as long as you need to, and then you put aside, you know, you go frugal. Let's say you make $60K a year, live like you only make 30, save that shit, fucking reinvest that into yourself, you know, start a business, learn a skill, you know, pay for some fucking coach that's going to show you how to invest or whatever, you know, do that, make that reinvestment, take that risk, and that's going to bump you up to the next level, bro. You know, I got something else in here that I'm going to talk about, but it's like what's popular is always wrong. You know, what's popular is wrong. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And it's funny. It's funny how trends from like long ago pop back up and they become popular again. You know? But if you're following the trends and shit, it's just you're doing the wrong thing. You know? It's like even my tattoo style. Even the kind of shit that I like to have drawn on me is old school shit. It's not really the popular kind of tattoos. So that just kind of goes to show, it's like you got to have that understanding of like, you know, it's everything's a cycle. But yeah, it's like when you're a person that has one of these you're overthinking, you're depressed, you're whatever, it's actually a superpower because it's going to force you to, it forces you to do that stuff. But it only forces you, if you let it. Right. Because if you don't let it and you don't know how to wrangle it and you don't take the time to study it, like when I was younger, like I'm 26 now. Read at 22 was, like, that was crazy, bro. Like, as a man, the 20s are a demolition derby, bro. I think I talked about this last time. I know I said this last time. 20s are a demolition derby. Like, Rhett Harton at 22 was like, fuck. I didn't know what to do. I was so, like, distracted and just, But now, look at me now, 26. I'm figuring out how to navigate this shit, I'm slowly learning that I can't do normal shit, bro. Like, I can't do that normal shit forever. Like, I gotta find a way out, or I'm just gonna be a crushed being. I'm gonna be a crushed deity my whole life. I'm just gonna become like a ghost, Now you can flip that on its head, which a lot of Stoics do. You can, there's the bad. It's like you have the bad form of being a ghost and being like a zombie in life. And then you have the good form, like the bad form is like you're a ghost, you're a zombie, and you just don't do anything but the shit, but the shit that makes you feel good, like blah, 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 and you're just like a deceased soul. Then you have the good form of a ghost and a zombie. You're the ghost in the sense that you realize that you're going to be dead at some point. So you live as if you're putting the finishing touches on your life every day. You live as if you need to, you live with a sense of urgency. You're like, dude, like, time is finite, Like, we got to make it happen. It's the two sides. So kind of a two-sided coin there, but anyway. In terms of making things happen, in terms of, trying to do your best, I think this is what, I saw this the other day on Instagram. I think this is really good to keep in mind because it takes 0% luck, 0% talent, 0% motivation. Still with me? 100% discipline, 100% obsession, 100% focus. That's wild. That's wild, bro. That really puts it in perspective. Bro. Like, you don't need luck. You don't need talent. You don't even need motivation. But it does help. It does help a lot. But you don't need it. And I can attest to that. You don't need it when you really get dialed in, when you really get focused. All you need is 100% discipline, 100% obsession, and 100% focus. The discipline and the focus are what's going to actually get the shit done. And the obsession is the fuel for it. The discipline and the focus are the wheels and the engine. Okay? The obsession is the gasoline you put in. And that's all you need. That's all you need, bro. That's it. No luck. Luck doesn't even fucking exist. Talent, fuck talent. Fucking motivation, yeah. I mean, you don't need it. You really don't need it once you get going, but, it'll help you a little bit. So, that That is that's what really is going to take you to the next level. All right. You have to continuously live life on your terms to keep a high spirit as a man. Doing things that you don't want to, but you feel like you have to out of obligation. Those are all the types of things that chip away at the human spirit. They will wither it down to nothing. Hating every part of your life will take your soul to an irrecoverable level at some point. An irrecoverable level at some point. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, so that is exactly what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. The damaged souls. You know, it reminds me of a Bring Me the Horizon song, Hospital for Souls. Well, just the title. But anyway, the people that get old and they get to the point where, you know, you've just hated the majority of your life, you know, like life isn't about all work. You know, life is about being able to do the things that excite you. You know, like you want to be able to do the things that excite you and give you that euphoria, you know, that invigorates you. You know what I mean? So, in order to do that, you have to continuously live life on your terms to keep a high spirit as a man. So, if you can do that, right? You know, I'm unable to do that right now. I haven't been able to do that yet, but I have a plan. I have a plan to be able to do that. I'm still young. I still have a high spirit. You know, I still have a high spirit. Although society and the Matrix have tried to lower my vibration, have tried to lower my vibe, lower my spirit so much. They really have. And it's crazy. You see people that come home and they turn on the news and they watch all this negative fucking input for free. Why do you think the news is so broadcasted all the time? Fucking negative input all the time. You know, like fucking cut on 3 killed in Texas shooting. Massive storm on the way. Fire on Interstate number 9. You know, it's like, whoa, bro. Like they're telling you all this negative shit, right? Because 1, it sells, and 2, it lowers your vibration. It lowers your vibe. It lowers your spirit as a human. And they know that. And you know that. Okay? But you watch it anyway. Why? Because you don't know any better. Or because you're just, you know, you just don't fucking care. And see, that's where it gets to a very scary point. You know? You gotta be able to sit down and, just like I said earlier, control the content you take in, you know. Doing things that you don't like to do. Doing things that you don't want to, but you feel you have to out of obligation. See, look, this is what they want you to do. They want you to come home and they want you to sit down and they want you to watch the negative news and lower your energy level because you feel obligated to. Because it's easy access. It's there. It becomes habitual. And then you eventually, you know, they slowly chip away at your human spirit. and you become the slave mind, bro. You have to resist the slave mind. It's crazy. It's crazy. You really do. You got to resist that shit, bro. It's wild. If you ever feel obligated, if you ever feel like you have to do something out of obligation, oh, I feel obligated. What? What the fuck? Like, what in the motherfuck? You feel obligated? You feel manipulated, is what you're really saying. You know? You feel manipulated like you have to do something. It's like, no, bro. No. Think about it. Think about it. Critically think about that shit, bro. Those are all the types of things, you know, things out of obligation or manipulation. Those are all the types of things that chip away at the human spirit. They will wither it down to nothing. Hating every part of your life will take your soul to an irrecoverable level at some point. It comes down to an irrecoverable level. It gets to an irrecoverable level where you've been in the slave, like there's a lot of people out there that are just beyond the point. They're past the point of no return. Because they've been plugged into the matrix for so long. They've been plugged into the slave mind so long. You tell them this shit. You're like, bro, you know you're an absolute slave to society. They're just like, what? You're just like, the damage is done. The damage is done. Can't fix that, bro. That's tough. That's tough, bro. It's wild. But only action will change your life. Stick to the plan, not your mood. You know, people that have no plan in life are the people that stand on the sidelines. You must have a life setup, you know? You know, it's like having a life setup seems pretty pragmatic, right? Seems pretty practical, you know? I mean, you want to get through life, but a lot of people want to just act like they have one, but they really don't. They want to act like they got it all, like in their head. It's like, what the fuck? All right, this is the Stoic paradox I was talking about earlier. Stoic paradox is that you are already dead, and you become a ghost of yourself that has been so much, that has seen so much brutality and gruesome things in life that you can take it in a very non-dramatic way. Things are dramatic. Things are dramatic, but they're not. That's like, this is literally explaining like the masculine aura. The masculine and stoic aura. This is the good ghost. Remember earlier I was talking about the two different types of ghosts. You don't want to be the bad, you know, ghost-like version of yourself when you're older. You want to be the good ghost-like version. You want to be the benevolent, virtuous, prime high-value man ghost of yourself, you know? It's because you've seen so much brutality and gruesome things in life. You know, like if you're a man that's lived life, you've lived a lot of life. You've really been out there. You've really lived life. You've really done a lot of stuff. That you take everything in a very non-dramatic way, and you seem more masculine. And you also speak with a lot more vibrato and conviction because you've really been there. But it's not out of ego, you know? it's like I make this podcast without ego. You know, it's not a big ego. Like you're just trying to put on a show, like a front. It's actually real. And you can tell the difference. You know, like you can tell the difference between a huge ego and somebody that's actually lived a lot more life in fewer years than somebody else. Yeah. You know, the big ego is the person that's a little bit more, is like probably going to be more disrespectful, you know, just wants to be seen, you know, they have the wrong reasons behind it. The real person is going to be the one that's you know, non-materialistic, but still has some materialistic things because they've been doing it right. It's going to be the person that's very calm, but is also capable of speaking at a high level when they have to. You know, they have the yin and yang. You know what I mean? Not somebody that just wants to talk for talk's sake. You know, like you could tell. Like you could even listen to my own podcast and be like, you could listen to it and be like, oh, is this guy just talking for the sake of fucking talking, or am I actually talking to try and drive some fucking points and, you know, make a mark on the universe? Like I'm actually trying to give people practical knowledge and wisdom. Like I'm trying to take the things that I learn and read and make a mark on the universe, bro. I'm not trying to be, you know, a kindred spirit. All right, next. You become the character that you're playing over many, many years of time. Yeah. That pretty much goes to say it's like you are who you are. You know, the character that you choose to play is who you become over many years. Yeah. 100%. 100%. I definitely agree with that. But the thing about it is like what I said earlier, you have to control what content you take in and your beliefs, and you have to be willing to change your beliefs as you go so you can keep on slowly molding your character into the best version of itself. It's like, I know I said this last time, it's like the worst place to be is to be the exact same character 10 years in a row. The exact same character 20 years in a row. That's awful. I'd rather, you know, you got to go down. Go fucking down than rather stay stagnant. You know? Because I talked about this last time. You know, if you go down, you're just going to do the wraparound effect. If you go down or if you go up, it's just going to be the Mobius strip of the character you're playing. The worst place you can stay is stagnation. Fucking sitting at home, not doing jack shit, playing video games, bro. Video games solve men. Not trying to hate on video games. I know I've said that before too. That's a chapter in a book I read. But yeah, dude, like stagnation is the worst place you can be, and you see it. So you want to, I mean, ideally you want to be moving up, but if you're moving down, fucking good too, bro. Because you're going to hit that wraparound effect eventually, and you're just going to bounce back up, probably at a higher level that you were before. So that's good too. Yeah. All right, the toughest guys have the biggest hearts. They have to respect the person in front of them. Then they will give you the shirt off their back. Yeah, I think that's pretty true. Most definitely. Generally the toughest guys, the ones that are the most capable of violence are the ones that are that definitely want to help the most as well, have the biggest hearts. And I mean, once you gain someone's respect like that, then they definitely are willing to help you, for sure. Yep, I would say so. All right, there's so many layers within a man that you cannot access until desperation kicks in. This is another great one because it kind of goes more into the topic about the negative and the positive voice, the yin and the yang. And when you go past the internal voice in your head, then you can kick into desperation. Once you burn the boats, like Alexander the Great said, it's also a PJ motto. If you don't know what PJ is, it's pararescue in the Air Force. They say that a lot, burn the boats. Or, their other one is these things we do, that's so others may live. That kind of goes back to what I just said about the toughest guys have the biggest hearts type deal. But yeah, there's so many layers within a man that you don't even know until desperation kicks in. So you gotta, you definitely, you gotta push those limits. You gotta see where it's at. Your back's got to be against the wall at some point. Back's got to be against the wall at some point, definitely, for you to feel that kick in. I mean, it's kicked in for me. Like the thing that really puts in desperation mode for me is like the most recent thing that I've done, and I'll talk about this because I think it's a great example, is when I was going to get my commercial driver's license, I had to wait like 4 months just to get in the class. I had to wait 4 months just to get in the class. So that's time, bro. That's time. I was just waiting. I had to get into this certain class, okay? 4 months later, boom, I'm in the class. I'm sitting here. I'm getting through it. The first like 2-3 weeks go by, and I'm like, shit, like I'm not really like fully grasping this, but it was just because I was half-assing it. And then I really sat here and thought about it. And I was thinking about the last kind of class type deal thing I did back when I was doing my EMT, getting my emergency medical technician fucking certificate, which I'm not going to go into that right now. But it took me 3 times. I passed that test on the 3rd time. But then I realized, I was like, look, I'm already 5 months deep into this shit. I had to wait that long just to get into this shit on the weekends. It's like there's no room for error. There's no room for me to fuck around and fail. I mean, I had 3 chances anyway, but I was like, there's no, just the time that's already been put into it. Like, time was so much more valuable to me at that point, because I'd already spent so much of it. Like, I was already so invested in it. I mean, the class didn't cost anything to me. It was just the time, It's like 4 months just to get in, fucking 7 weeks just to take it. And then it's like desperation mode kicked in, bro. I was like, I'm desperate, bro. Like, I have to pass this thing. Like, I have to get through this. And guess what? I fucking got it first time. You want to know why? You want to know how? And see, look, and this is how you learn shit too about yourself. When you're on desperation mode, bro. When that desperation mode kicks in, it's like the reason I passed that shit is because literally all other doors in my life were closed. Fucking no TV. Fucking no fucking, minimal, I'm like no TV. Like I'm listening to this shit while I'm going and working out. Like I'm doing all this other stuff. Like no TV, no somebody sent me a text. Fucking like all the distractions were cut out and it was nothing but just that fucking shit that I had to learn. I was like boom, 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 and I did that for about the last like 3 weeks. Like I slowly kind of realized, I was like, okay, I kind of eased into it. And then like the last 3 weeks, like desperation mode just kicked in and I was just full throttle, like nothing but just reps. Again. Do the flashcards again. Read it again. Listen to it again. Watch the video again. Just over and over and over and over. And so by the time I went out and took the shit, I was red. Like I was just, let's go. That's what it takes. Like that's what desperation mode does to somebody. Now, if I would have gotten to the class the first day, went online, applied, did my shit, got into the class next week, and I fucking had all the time and I wouldn't have been as desperate. I wouldn't have been as ready. It's like you gotta give. Like you gotta really be invested into something for you to really value it. Yeah. Like you gotta, like there's gotta be some investment for you to really value it. That's why I kind of talk about this whole, it's kind of like when I talk about politics on my podcast, it's like the left and the right, like that's why I talk about like libertarianism, really hates the soul. Like they're trying to destroy the soul of man, because when you give away free shit to people, it takes men out of desperation mode and pushing people up to the higher echelons of life. And it makes people not value the stuff they've been given, So that's kind of the philosophy behind that. It's like desperation mode. So, all right, I'm going to skip. Well, no, fuck it. We'll talk about this really fast. I want to try and get through the rest of this shit. This might be a long episode, but I don't really care. So we'll talk about this legacy. when like while you're building all this stuff, like while you're building your legacy, while you're building your brand, your personal brand, your purpose, whatever you want out of life, right? Whenever you're building that, you kind of have to think about your legacy is greater than your currency. Like what is your legacy, bro? Like what does your last name mean? What's your legacy? What does your last name really mean? You should have too much respect for your last name. You should have too much respect for your last name to kill yourself. You should have so much massive respect for your last name. Like you should literally sit down and be like, dude, it doesn't matter what I go through. It doesn't matter how fucking depressed I am. Like if depression is even real, I don't even think depression is real. You know what I'm saying? It's really not even real, bro. But you should have so much respect for your last name. It's like, I literally can't kill myself, bro. Like I literally can't. I can't do that to my name. I can't disrespect my bloodline like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sorry, I fucking can't do that. It's like I'm a fucking ret, bro. I'm a ret. I'm a Harton, bro. I just can't do that. Fuck, there's too much respect on my name. Like, sorry. No matter how bad it gets, we're in here, bro. All right, it literally doesn't matter if you hit your goals. Literally doesn't even give a fuck if you hit your goals, bro. I give a fuck if you guys hit your goals. I do not fucking care. It's all about who you become in the process. All right, let me keep it real. Of course, everybody wants to hit their goals. Of course. Of course you should hit your goals, but it's all about who you become in the process. You know? Who did you become in the process, you know? Did you get to the point where you got to do the things that you got to do that excited you in life? Did you get to do all those things you want to do? Who did you become in that process? That's really what it's about. You know, it's like aim for the goals, hit them, but always keep in mind, like who is this person that you're becoming in the process? Who's the character you're creating? You got to love that process. All right. Next, a half-heartbroken state drives men to their highest potential. I agree with that. Totally. That's 100% right there. Because when you're in... Whoa, that was close. Almost spilt something. When you're in the half heartbroken state as a man, that's kind of what, like, you know, that's what keeps you idling. Idling as in the sense of like you're closer to putting it in drive and keeping on moving. You're not completely shut off. Yeah, it's like you don't ever really want to completely shut off as a guy, I would say. I don't think that's a super great idea. You know, being somebody that's completely shut off. No, you want to stay in the half. You know, it's like being stoic is kind of being in the half heartbroken state. You know, that's what drives men to their highest potential. That's what drives men to be, you know, greater on the other side. You know, it's like intrinsic motivation. You know, it's like I kind of have I have this tattoo on the inside of my arm, and it's a very controversial tattoo. It says "Born Tired," okay? And I feel like a lot of people get confused by that. A lot of people that don't really have an IQ can get confused by that. But it's pretty much what it means is like when man is in a half heartbroken state, in a always fatigued state, that is what drives you to spend more energy. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that you gain more energy by spending energy. You gain energy by spending energy. But people will see it and be like, oh, that just means you're lazy all the time. It's like, no. Being intrinsically and mentally fatigued all the time is what drives men. Being a little mentally fatigued all the time is what drives men to keep making action. Keep doing action. Keep making things happen. Because they realize it's like, oh, I'm kind of fucking tired. I want to stop. All right, well, let me just get up and fucking do this shit. Then once you're doing it, you're going to be like, okay, I got some energy back. Okay. And that's what keeps you going. But if you just sit in it and you're just going to sit there and just be like, and you're just going to sit there and just keep on feeling like shit, you start to realize the only way to get past that little bit of shit feeling is make shit happen. Because when you make shit happen, you get more energized. And when you get more energy, that's when the good shit comes to you. That's the whole idea behind it. Yes. That is what makes man drive. Your demons just want to be put to work. It's literally that just continues on it, You can view the half fatigued state as a as a deity. It's like we all have these demons in life. I wouldn't necessarily say that the half fatigued state is a demon, but we all have these things that we don't like in life, these demons that we face and these obstacles that we have to come over. It's like these things just want to be put to work, bro. Like you put them to work for you. You put these things to work for you, like fucking going to the gym, fucking doing a podcast, fucking going for a walk, fucking reading that book. Like you put these things to work, then they work for you. It's like you always have these two voices. It's like follow the good voice, but put that other, these other things, put them to work too. I think that's kind of what that means. Okay. So I think one of the biggest weaponized virtues can be Christianity at some points. However, I do believe in God, but I see people a lot of times they can use like evangelism and like televangelists and stuff. They use Christianity as weaponized virtue. And I think that is a big part of the reason why a lot of modern day Christians are like mad. They're like angry. Like upset at modern day Christianity. So because they use it as like weaponized virtue. Along with masculinity too. I think that can be a big one too. But anyway, moving on. I was hesitant to talk about that topic, but because I didn't, just had a little bit written down for it. Okay, so I want to talk about the beauty for a second. So it's like as a man, as a guy, as a man in the modern day world, you have to understand, you have to realize that you're in a hyper-competitive environment. And a lot of the things that you want, other people want too. The most beautiful girl in the room, the most beautiful car on the lot, it's beautiful because it's difficult to obtain. That's what makes something beautiful. Something is beautiful because it's difficult to obtain. Simply put. And I agree with that. If it was beautiful, then if beauty was easily attained, then it would take away its value. It's like the shiny gold, the shiny diamond is made under pressure, and it's shiny, and not everything can withstand that pressure, and it's shiny, it's beautiful, and it's difficult to obtain. Gold is the same way. A woman is the same way. It's like everybody wants that. So that's what makes the beautiful thing difficult to obtain. And as a man, as a guy, you have to understand that you're in a hyper-competitive environment with other people, with other dudes that want the same thing. So that's why you have to be in desperation mode, and that's why you have to be in hustle mode and make these things come to you. and just hard work and working smart, that's what's going to make you successful. But just having having materialistic things isn't going to make a girl want you. I think that's a big misconception that I think a lot of people could get from this. Like I'm preaching like hustle, get the bag, like self-improvement, get out of depression, work your ass off, be capable, make money, get women, enjoy the finer things in life. Yes, I'm preaching all that, but don't get it confused with thinking that just like monetary value is going to get you women. It'll buy you maybe 5 minutes of a girl's attention. That's what it'll do. It'll buy you like 5 minutes of a 10 out of 10 beautiful woman's attention. If you're financially successful and you have a Rolex and a Ferrari, type deal. But, when you raise your value like that, you're also going to attract like the wrong people too. That's why when you have these beautiful things on that journey of attaining the difficult thing that's beautiful, you learn a lot in that process. That's why, like, you see these guys that win the lottery and they go fucking broke again in 8 years. Because they just won all the money. They didn't go through all the difficult things. They didn't learn all the lessons that came with it. They didn't mature with it. That's the paradox there. It's like everybody just wants the fucking, if I could just win this lottery. If I could just win this million, win this 5 million. Psh, yeah, right. Fucking go broke in fucking 5 years, motherfucker. Because you don't know jack shit about it. About the money, Things that are beautiful. Those dead presidents, those Benjamin Franklins, man, those are beautiful, man. I want those to represent me. But there's a lot of fucking lessons that come with getting all those. Yeah. And then again, remember, don't think, shiny, beautiful things, they buy attention. Attention is currency. Okay? And that can work in your favor, when you're trying to sell. But underneath all that, you still have to know how to play the ball game of psychology and women, and it's like the beautiful stuff is the hook. People want to spend money with people that already have money. You feel me? So that's the hook. You bring them in, and then you still have to understand how to play the whole other game. So, I see a lot of guys get that confused. So I just want I just want to say that. Okay, moving on. Anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. Anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. Oscar Wilde, Irish dramatist and novelist. That's a good one. That's a good quote. You know, I like that a lot. I think that's very interesting. Living within your means, you have a lack of imagination. I think that can be, right and wrong. I think there's some parts to this. So like when you live within your means, that means you live modestly, okay? But I think the missing point, the missing key of this quote is a lot of people, you have to live within your means for a certain amount of time before you can come out of that. You have to gain a certain amount of money, a certain amount of capital, and then build yourself an escape. I don't think it necessarily means you have a lack of imagination, but I think people that live within their means on a long enough time frame, live within their means their whole life, they don't have any imagination for what could be. It's kind of like the fool. He's kind of pointing out the fool's dream. The fool's dream of life. Life is a dream for the fool because they dream about all the things that they wish they could have. Life is a comedy for the rich because they laugh at all the dumb people who wish they could have everything. Right? Because the rich people have the money. And then life is a game for the wise. If you're a wise person, life is just a game. You understand that on a deeper level, it's not just about money. Money buys you attention. Attention is currency. Attention brings you into the next level of the psychological realm to have persuasion and influence. And that's the game. That's the game here. But Oscar Wilde here is just pointing out that at the bottom of the barrel, the poor people dream about the life they want because they're afraid to put their imagination into purpose. So I wouldn't even say I would say anyone who lives within their means suffers from, they could suffer from a lack of imagination, or they could suffer from understanding that they can bring their imagination into reality. I would say. All right, moving on. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Yeah, see, this plays in, this ties in very nicely into what I just said. The three types of people and the three different ways you can look at life: the poor, the rich, and the wise. So this is kind of telling you, if you're a person at the bottom that doesn't believe that they can bring their dreams into reality, blah, blah, blah. You see this a lot, bro. You see it so much. It's crazy. I sit here and talk about it, but you could throw a rock to a person that's not going to fucking make their dreams come true. It's crazy, bro. And that's why I'm saying, like, that I talked about it at the beginning. It's like that mindset, that poverty, like, low status mindset is so infectious. And you really got to be careful what content you take in. And you want to stay away from those distressful, dissociated types of people because they're only going to drag you down. You know, they're trying to pull you down into their beliefs and their reality. It's like, nah, bro. You have to understand that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Richard P. Feynman, Nobel Prize winning physicist. There's a physicist that said that. Yeah, so all the people at the bottom, you can't fool yourself, bro. It's like I see a lot of people like that. You know, it kind of like makes me think about I had this thought the other day. The Joker and the thief. The Joker the person, like, you can't fool yourself. You got to understand that you don't want to fool yourself. All right, moving on. Okay, this is what I said earlier. Everything popular is wrong. Oscar Wilde, The Importance of Being Earnest. Yeah. Yeah, that's deep. I mean, I would agree with it. That's like a super deep, that's a really deep one. It just goes into the cycles, cycles of history and time. Everything that's popular. It goes back to, you have to do the opposite of what most people do in life. Like, what's popular is what's going to be portrayed as good by most people. What are most people? Most people are average. Most people are normal. Most people are not exceptional. Mediocre. If you want to be exceptional, by definition, that makes you the exception. So you have to not do what the majority does. Don't follow the masses. Because that's only going to lead you to a normal fucking life. A normal soul-killing life. You got to be inventive. I think that's what that means. That's what that quote means. And it's so true. It's like you read that and it's just like, it just kind of dumbfounds you. You're like, what? But then, you think you go deeper into it and you're like, that's actually very true. Like if you want to have influence, like a lot of people, like I've seen this a lot. Like a lot of people are willing to sacrifice money just for influence, especially men. Like, men want to have money and they want to have respect, but they also want to be able to influence their environment. Right. And that, I don't think you should throw money to the wayside just to try and have power and influence because power, you need money to be powerful. But yes, you most definitely need to understand that everything that's popular is wrong. So that goes pretty deep on that one. Yeah. All right. I'm almost done here. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Second to last thing. So just remember the goal in life. It's all about the person you become in the process. And the goal in life is to be able to live on your own terms and do the things that excite you. You want to be able to do the things that excite you. What makes you excited in life? You know? Like what raises your spirit? What raises your belief? What raises your vibe? What raises your vibration in life? Phew. You know, whether that be getting more money, starting a brand, you know, going skydiving, going hang gliding, doing snowboarding, just doing those things that give you euphoria and invigoration and just really excite you. So that's really good. So you know, that's the goal. You know, you want to be able to it's like, look, you know, like rich people buy time, right? Rich people buy time, and poor people buy shiny things, shiny distractions. No, excuse me. Rich people buy time. Normal people buy shiny materialistic things. And poor people buy distractions, you know? Like the poor person, the fucking poor person, like poverty mentality person goes and buys a video game just to distract themselves from their normal life, and they get drunk and they're, you know, the normal person just chases money and just wants the shiny thing, the new iPhone and the new car and the new shiny thing, materialistic, blah blah blah. You know, they don't understand that they're a byproduct of a consumer culture. You know, they don't understand that. They don't understand what I explained earlier, that shiny things are only going to get you attention. And however, attention is currency, but then you have to play the next game, which is the psychological. That's what those people, the normies, that's what the normies don't understand. But the wise people understand that you have to buy time. You know, the doctor that makes $600K a year and works 80 hours a week versus the guy that only makes $80,000 a year but works fucking 4 hours a week because he's got an online business. And you're like, who's richer in life? Who's living more life? The guy that has more time, bro. Time is finite. Like, time is the biggest currency. And a lot of people don't understand that. So if you really want to be truly wise, truly rich, and, you know, really be able to heighten your spirit and vibration, you have to be able to buy time. You have to have time. And, you know, how do you do that? You do time as money. You know, so one of the biggest things I can just say is, you know, if you're trying to get on that path, you know, one, you have to control the content you take in. Two, you have to control your cash flow. Cash flow. The money that you get and the money you spend. The money that you get and the money you spend, the flow of your cash, you got to control that. Because if you can't save money, then you're not going to be able to get to the next level. Okay. Then you have to, fucking lost my train of thought. Then, cash flow, and then you just have to keep on building on that. But anyway, last thing, and then I'm gonna roll up out of here. All right, so last thing, this is actually a tweet. I got this off Twitter. Wearing masculinity as a decoration is extremely homosexual. Zero, and I mean zero amount of muscle, money, and having sons will make you feel like a man. Men are starting families, hitting the gym, wearing suits strictly for the appearance of seeming a man, moving through sludge, slogging, grinding. Very, very gay. Being a man is much more simple than that. Masculinity is bare-boned, skeletal. It's doing things your way and letting life happen. No more complicated than that. You're immaculate. You accumulate along the way by osmosis. Kids just happen. Money just happens. Even physical exertion should be automatic. An afterthought. You whip up a dust devil flurry of action and things attract to your net. Keeping up images and appearances is gay as fuck. Yes, I agree with that. I sent that to a friend of mine the other day. But, yeah, I would say there's some yes and no's in that quote. But, and this actually brings me back to one last final point that I want to say before I wrap up. But that brings me back to, that's not what I was just talking about. But this reminds me that keeping up with the Joneses and the consumer culture and the just showing up to be seen and all that shit, the attention and crap, like if, like that, like if you're not playing that for the deeper game, like deeper aspect, then it's just, it is gay. It's unmanly to just be trying to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with the trends, and you know what I mean? It's like as a man, you're a status symbol. Like as a guy, you're a status symbol of your own. And you start the trends. Like as a man, you're a status symbol and you're a trendsetter. You don't follow them. No. Like the most the most masculine dudes don't, they have their own trends. Like they have their own aura. They have their own shit that they like. Like if you're trying to keep up with shit, it's like if you're wearing, masculinity as a decoration, like if you're wearing it as a decoration, I think, yeah, that is weak. You don't want to do that. But, this is a very in-depth tweet, so. But I totally get it at the end. Keeping up with appearances and shit is pretty homosexual, so you don't want to do that. Unless that's what you like to do. But yeah, this just reminds me of like all right, this is the last thing I'm talking about. But this just reminds me of like one of my favorite ideas is like the old school flex. I think one of the biggest and the coolest flexes, like not saying that you should always flex as a dude. Like you shouldn't have to always flex, but we all have our things that we like, and I think it's so cool to be able to pull up. Like this is just terms of cars. Like I think it's a super sick flex to be able to pull up alongside like some new age like Cybertruck, like automatic driving, thing, whatever. Just to pull up alongside some new age car in like a really old school, like just super nicely restored, like old school car. Like imagine, just picture this. Like imagine you're driving down a road and you come up to a red light and you got like a 2024 Tesla that can like drive itself and shit. And then you pull up next to it in like a 1967 Mustang, like cherry red, fully restored, like classic interior, like everything. Like, what's more of a flex? Like, what's more cool? Like what's cooler there? It's like, if you think the fucking Tesla is cooler, like you're just chasing the next big thing, bro. Any dude that like is worth a shit, is that any dude that's actually smart and is worth a shit is gonna be like, dude, that fucking old school shit is sick. Although I'm not trying to like force anybody to think anything, but I'm just saying, like, in my perspective, like that, like the old school car wins every time because it's just such a flex. It's like you got this quiet little, like Tesla, like, and then you got this like, like sick, like old school car. You know what I mean? I mean, those Teslas are fast, but I bet you the old school car could beat it in a race. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. This is Rhett. This is the Experiencing Rhett podcast. Thank you so much for listening. This is my last episode for a little bit. I'm gonna try and do some more videos, some like short videos in the future, like in the coming weeks while I'm gonna be gone. Just kind of like let y'all know what's happening. But thank y'all for listening so much, and follow me on social media. Other than that, it's Rhett. I'm out.